High School. Please welcome Chris.
Thanks. Yeah, so he just kind of took the first few things I was already going to say. But anyway, like you said, I'm Chris Gemkow. I teach music production and at York High School, just down the road. We've released 5 albums in the last 5 years, and those albums include over 100 original student recordings. And I will start by saying I really didn't want to do this today. Not kidding. This is not my venue. I can play a song for you. I can play piano and guitar, and I can perform something. But when it comes to this, very uncomfortable, very anxious. This makes me feel totally exposed, even though there's a wonderful group of people here. I mean, you're all music teachers, everybody music teacher or administrator of some sort, right? So it's like a comedian, right? Everybody in the audience is rooting for you until you are not funny. So I am not even trying to tell jokes. But, so why am I here then, if this is so uncomfortable for me? And I've tried to do this so many times by myself in practice rooms, and I can't get through this without at some point getting emotional about it. So I'll prepare you. What would I tell my students if they came to me and they said, I'm going to do something really important, I have an opportunity to do something really important, to say something to a crowd that should hear it and share my perspective of the world. Maybe it's a performance, maybe it's a speech of some sort. What would I tell them? I would say, well, if they told me that they were anxious and they were afraid to be uncomfortable in front of people, I would say those are all the reasons that you need to do it. It's exactly why you need to do that. Because in those moments of allowing yourself to be uncomfortable, that's when you grow. That's when you, as a person, as a professional, that's when you experience that growth. And literally in practice rooms, by myself, looking at a wall, I get emotional about it because that's what I challenge my students to do all of the time, is to be vulnerable. The hardest point in your life as a teen, you want to stay inside yourself and you want to just hide. But I try to create that environment for kids to come and feel okay, like I can express myself here. So that's why I'm here. I'm here. I wish all my students were here too, not to see me like get emotional, but to say, look, I'm doing it too. I don't ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. And I lead by example. You know, I'm a songwriter. I never thought of myself as a musician. I'll tell you why. Because, well, at some point we got to hear the music. We got to hear the songs in a second here. But I started off. Now I grew up a music fan. Like from the age of 5, I remember drawing a picture of a rock band. They looked like Kiss because I just thought that's what a rock band was supposed to look like. And that's, you know, I may not look it, but I'm 41 years old, so it was like 1983 when I drew that drawing. And I remember I called them Firestarter. I totally remember that picture. But where was the rock band class in elementary school? There wasn't one. I could choose a cornet, a clarinet. Clarinet was kind of cool because like, okay, that's going to lead to the saxophone, but do you want to play the clarinet right away? No. And so cornet, clarinet, or snare drum. Snare drum at the time seemed boring to me. I wish I would have chosen that, but I didn't. So I chose the cornet. And I was so excited to play this new instrument. I practiced. I invested my time because I thought, okay, now I'm going to learn how to be a musician. This is going to be awesome. And after that year was over, I slowly, painfully quit for the next 2 years. I stayed in the band, and I remember the moment where I'm like, what am I doing? I was marching in the Memorial Day Pet Parade. I was pretending to play the cornet. I wasn't even making any sound out of the instrument. I was just walking with everybody like, okay, what am I doing? It's hot, I'm sweating, I don't like what I'm doing, I hate this music, I'm sorry, but I did not connect with that music. That was not my music. I fell in love with Pearl Jam, with the Black Crowes, that's what was going on with me. Like I was consuming insatiable amounts of new music. So, but because I quit, I just convinced myself as a 7th grader, because you're young and you're stupid, I convinced myself I wasn't a musician. I convinced myself that, oh, I guess I just like to listen to it. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be part of any of these groups, because if I was a musician, I would have stuck with it in band, orchestra, choir, one of those 3 things. But I checked out, and I didn't even investigate options after that. I just went through high school. I became a music listener, for sure. Like hardcore search for what is good. Don't just give me what's on the radio. I want to know what's really happening underneath the ground everywhere. I wanted to tap into what those songwriters were doing that nobody knew about. And I'm still in that way. You know, I discovered a band, Wilco, in 1997. Actually, I discovered them in like 96, but I saw them for the first time in 97. Anybody know Wilco in here? I'm a disciple. Like Jeff Tweedy he was my teacher, really. My teachers were John Lennon, Bob Dylan, and Jeff Tweedy. I picked up that guitar when I was 18 in college, and I decided it's now or never. Learn how to do something that you want to do. You like this music, learn how to play it. So I became my teacher. I started writing songs. Still, well into my 20s, playing with bands. I'll get into the teaching part of it in a little bit, but on the side of just making music was my passion. Still haven't really made $1 off of it. But I still didn't consider myself a musician. It's just this thing inside my head that I'm not a musician because I quit back in 7th grade. So, all of that is going to lead to me now talking about the York Album Project, which I started 5 years ago. I think we need to hear the music now, and hopefully there will be fewer moments of emotional, but there may be, so stick with me. It's worth it, I think. I can do it. I'm fine, yeah. I can run this. This is what I do all day. All right, let me get the music going. Oh, wait. Oh, here we go. Oh. I thought I could do it. Why is the thing not? Oh, I have to exit the show. My fault. I think. Do I? We have to hear the music. All right. I just practiced it. It's not happening. A little assistance at this point. I did this earlier. I pressed the button and it came up. I don't know why it's not doing it now. I don't know what happened. So this is a medley of the past 5 years, the five albums we've created. Those are all the covers, all original student artwork as well, from top to bottom. It's a DIY project. The first year we relied on some outside garage, local guy who had a studio in his garage to help us record. Starting with the second album, we pretty much did as much as we possibly could do in-house at York High School. And we raise all the money too. We don't have a budget. We put on shows and we charge people $5 to come see us perform, and we use that money to do everything that we do. Are we good? All right, let's listen to it.
wonder keep for each other, looking at the past, saying so. This is what the real world is like.
So that is my mission, is to get these songs into the world. And that was 19 examples of those students' original work. And it's, I just listening to that, I think you can see why it's important, why it's something that really stirs me up when I reflect on this experience. So, this next slide I can't even look at, because where did it all start? All right. When I was my first year teaching, I was an English teacher, by the way. Started off as an English teacher. I think that might be important to know. Because I quit band, remember, I didn't go to school for music. I studied English. And so I taught English for 2 years in the Bay Area of California. And so I had this student. She sent this message 10 years after I had her in class. I can't look at it. So I'll let you read it for a second. But, So, it started with this. My big idea, noticing people. What did I do for her? I was just myself. All I did was, Sharon was a student. I had her for 2 years, sophomore and junior English. And she had a Strokes sticker on her folder. This is 2001. The Strokes just released. Is This It? Anybody know Strokes out there? Yeah. Anybody have that album in 2001? It put an end to NSYNC and Britney Spears. I loved that album. It needed to happen because our world of music was becoming saturated, and it's saturated again by shows like The Voice and American Idol. Those shows are just taking people away from what songwriting and good music really is. They're saying, just sing someone else's words and melodies and be the best voice and you're going to make it. No, you're just a commodity. It's candy. But the Strokes came out, the White Stripes, all these bands came out, and they just said, let's do something with some substance. The substance was in the music, in the rhythms, in the sound, and not always in the lyrics. There wasn't anything too profound about their lyrics, but it was in the sound. And so I saw that Sharon had a Strokes sticker on her folder. And I just walked around the room one day, it was just like, oh, I didn't realize that the students, this is my first year of teaching, by the way, I didn't realize they listened to the same music that I did. So I'm like, oh, you listen to the Strokes? And she's like, I love the Strokes. So we started talking. And for the next 2 years, had a really fun, interesting, casual relationship that revolved around talking about bands, shows, or what are you into? Here, check this out, or check that out. And that's all it was. And in addition to that, she was smart, great writer. She was very quiet. She didn't like to participate in discussion very much, but she lived inside her head a lot. And so I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I was just talking with a student about something that I had a shared interest in. And, well, how does this relate to what I'm talking about? Just the fact that I took an opportunity to just identify a shared interest and talk about something that she was interested in, brought her out, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. She made me realize with this message, it was like a bombshell saying, you can do this on purpose. You can see somebody that needs to be noticed, and you can reach out, and you can say, I see you, and I see that you have more than you're showing to the world. And I think my job is to get that student to bring out the best in themselves. So, people ask me all the time, how do you do this? I can't give you a formula. I don't know how I do this, really. I don't. It's my passion in life to write music and to listen to music. And so that comes across. I was an English teacher, then I was a special ed English teacher, and then I had this opportunity to teach guitar, and I took it. I didn't know what I was doing. I just took the opportunity. And then I had an opportunity to teach music production. I said, absolutely. Combine everything I love in life with my job? Yes. So that's what I did. And from that has grown this passion for getting kids to write and record and release their music. And the key ingredient, really, is you, the teacher. I could say it's me, but it's me at my school. I'm the key ingredient to my program, and so are you. No matter what department you're in, whether you teach choir, orchestra. Actually, the teacher might not even be in your department. I was an English teacher. And the department chair plucked me out and said, hey, you should teach guitar. And that started everything. He said, I believe in you. And that woke me up. So you have to open your doors. If you want to do stuff like this, you have to find out who are those students like me. It's that important. Who are those students like me who could be making music with you? Who could be doing stuff like this? It's just that important to me. And I hope someday I can talk about this without having this involuntary reaction, because literally, in the first 40 years of my life, I probably cried like 5 times. And it was all because of maybe having my heart broken or someone died. Now, literally, this stirred something up in me, thinking about all this. And I hope my main message to you is, I don't care if you're a French teacher, if you're a PE teacher, your students have something to offer, and you can make an effort to notice them. Thank you.